Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this Warriors versus Blazers podcast. Make sure to like this video or if you're listening, subscribe to this podcast because it's the best darn sports podcast out there. Okay. But yeah, we're just going to start doing some intros at the beginning of our podcast just to kind of remind you guys, come back and listen. Because we drop literally everything, UFC stuff, NBA stuff, and Jonah's an NBA wizard. He knows everything. And we talk about the NFL. Specifically, we have an emphasis about West Coast teams like Bay Area. But yeah, guys, tune in because we have big plans, you know what I mean? But yeah, thank you so much for listening. We kind of start out talking about Jordan Clarkson and his little shove off, and then we talk about we just hop right into the Warriors Blazers 2-game series. But yeah, boys, thank you so much and enjoy. What did you think of the Jordan Clarkson thing? I was like, when he shoved the ref.
Yeah, I
was watching the game. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say I was watching the game too. I actually thought he should have been ejected because
really,
yeah, I thought they kind of let him off easy because we had the precedent for that set last year. In actually a game that the Blazers were playing in at the Washington Wizards when Isaiah Thomas fell into a ref and pushed him into the stands. And I thought that was a lot less blatant than this one was.
That's true.
So Isaiah Thomas got ejected in this game. I thought Jordan Clarkson's instance was way worse. So I thought they kind of let him off the hook a little bit.
Yeah,
I just have a hard time.
He was just
frustrated. Not empathizing with him. Yeah, because that'd be so frustrating, dude. He was literally getting a steal.
Yeah, exactly.
Under the other team's basket, bro.
And I think that's why he didn't get ejected, probably because the referee just understood how badly he messed up himself. And so, yeah, I can see both sides for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny, though.
Yeah, it was weird, but
it didn't look that bad live.
No.
And then the replay, he was like, you could see the attitude.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't just he ran into him; it was like the full extension of the arms too.
Yeah,
but it was pretty subtle. He was just like, get out of my way, man.
Yeah,
you know. But then he's like,
it wasn't like he was trying to hurt him.
No. But I would have been really upset too. Everybody in the comments or like on posts and stuff seem to not be too mad at him. But I can see where Jonah's coming from. But I mean, Jordan Clarkson getting...
Well, yeah, especially with the Isaiah Thomas thing. I forgot about that.
Yeah. But dude, Jonah...
That ref was just soft.
I know. If you were a ref, would you have called anything? I felt like I would have just been like, it's chill. Feel like it's fine.
I know, but they're supposed to do it when they put their hands on them, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big no-no, but...
Yeah. You know what I did?
It was like bang, bang.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what I did? I forgot that I didn't even realize because like Brad Wanamaker against the Pistons, he had like a layup and then he accidentally like touched the ball after and then they like teed him up.
Oh, yeah. Delay of game.
Yeah. But it was like it landed right in front of him.
Yeah. It was I'm not a big fan of those calls.
Yeah. It was the stupidest thing ever. But
I guess speaking of Brad Wanamaker, do you guys want to sort of jump into this game that's going on tonight?
Because the Blazers are in trouble, man.
I did go back and watch most of that Warriors game against the Pistons, aside from like the last 6 minutes when the Warriors really started to enforce their will on
How about
Detroit.
Number 22?
But yeah, that was I walked away from the Chicago game, which was the Warriors' first win of the season, feeling even worse about the Warriors. I thought they played really badly in that game. But the Detroit one, you could kind of start to see a few things come together. So it'll be exciting to see how that carries over into the game tonight, with the biggest storyline being the return of Draymond Green, who there's no panacea for a team that started the season as poorly as the Warriors have, but Draymond Green excels in a lot of the areas that have sort of been that the Warriors have been underperforming in throughout the early portion of this season, in particular, interior defense, rebounding, and then passing and screening, most of all on offense. Like, we think of Draymond as this elite defensive player, which at one point he was, but I think the offensive end of the floor is really where he is going to be able to help them immediately tonight. Kellan, what do you think about that?
Bro, I just this game's gonna be freaking fun. So Draymond, he had a foot thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then he was day to day before that. Before this, like he could have came back, like probably in a playoff situation, he would have came back. But yeah, I'm pumped, and I think that the Warriors are gonna take both games, dude. Wait, okay, what do you think of the odds of the war? Do you
Stop
think,
the cap.
bro? You never know, honestly. If Wiggins shoots the lights out like he did, if that's not a fluke, they look so good. Wiggins, he hit like 3 3-pointers in a row, and then Wiggins,
Bro, we have so
and
many
then-
guys to hold Wiggins, bro.
and then Oubre, bro, finally
Yes.
hit his first 3 ball. Stop it.
So let's talk about Andrew Wiggins, because I actually think his game against Detroit was very interesting. Kellan referenced his shooting, and he did have a very nice night shooting the basketball at Detroit. He had struggled very badly shooting in the first 3 games of the season, and to be honest, what we saw against Detroit is nothing more than a fluke. Like, he's not going to shoot above 50% from 3-point range every
We'll
night.
see.
He's probably going to be a lot closer to the first 3 games of the season. He's
Probably.
in my eyes, he's like a 30 to 32% 3-point shooter. What really was interesting to me, though, and this has carried over through the first few games of the season, is the way they're actually using Andrew Wiggins on offense as sort of like this primary creator. He's been running some pick and rolls, and he's been running quite a few of them. I think he's like top 40 in the league in terms of pick and rolls ran as of right now. And I think that's been a very interesting wrinkle to his game. His overall awareness and intelligence seems to have really increased this year. I wonder if that's having the entire offseason to sort of the entire, because the offseason's been completely different, but just sort of be integrated into this Warriors offensive scheme. But yeah, his turnover rate has gone way down. That was a major problem for him in Minnesota. His handle's gotten a lot tighter, which another big problem for him in Minnesota. And he's making passes like to the weak side corner, and he's finding spotted shooters who are spotting up. And that's just something we've never really seen Wiggins do at prior points in his career. So I'm going to be really watching to see what Wiggins does when he has the ball in his hands tonight against the Blazers.
Wiggins is going to drop. I think he's going to score at least like 25 in both games, bro. I think he's going to pick up where he left off and look at Jonah. Look at Jonah. Look at Jonah.
Well, Channon,
On who, bro?
you talked about
On who?
You talked about some of the Blazers' options for defending Wiggins. Do you want to dive a little deeper into that?
Yeah. Bro, who in the world is Wiggins going to score 25 on?
Robert
Jones Jr.?
Robert Covington. Oh, dude. Derek,
Robert Covington?
dude, Derek Jones Jr.
Rodney Hood? Who hating, bro?
Derek Jones Jr. is good. He's really good. I haven't really watched him, but like his
Yeah,
block,
he is, bro.
his
He's my
swat on
favorite
LeBron, I was
1v1
like,
defender
Jesus.
on the team.
Yeah, no, he was such a good pickup.
Yeah, bro. He held Harden well, too.
Yeah, I don't know.
He did a good job against Harden, bro. And I think if you can do a good job against Harden, you can do a good job against Andrew Wiggins.
That's probably a pretty good estimate there, dude. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, this is something I've thought about quite a bit leading into the game. I always like to think about who the base defensive matchups will be. And I actually think the Blazers are going to utilize Derek Jones the most on Stephen Curry, which is surprising because Jones is
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. Yeah.
and Curry's a guard. But Curry, obviously, the number one threat assessment on the Golden State Warriors, does a lot running off of screens, just trying to lose his defender when he's off the ball. And Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, the Blazers' 2 guards, they're never really guys who you want to put on. You don't want to give them the most involved defensive assignment. I was going to say the hardest defensive assignment, but I'm going to change my wording and say like the most strenuous, like the one where you have to exert the most effort. And whoever guards Stephen Curry is going to have to just be running constantly, be maneuvering around screens. And I think Derek Jones Jr. is probably the best man for the job there. I think Robert Covington is an interesting one. I actually am going to be expecting Robert Covington to guard Draymond Green because Draymond Green cannot shoot the basketball.
That's what I was just thinking too.
He's ineffective when the ball's not in his hands. And so Robert Covington can just have free license to help off of Draymond Green as much as he wants to. So when he doesn't have to worry about like Draymond catching the ball and hitting a spot up three, Covington will be free to go and like try to get deflections and make plays elsewhere on the court. So I think that will be really liberating for Covington to be put on such an ineffective off-ball player as Draymond Green. And Draymond, at certain points in his career, was maybe a more active cutter, maybe did a bit of a better job on the offensive glass, finding open spaces on the court. It's just hard for me to imagine him being too effective in those areas in his first game coming off a foot injury after he hasn't played in like almost a calendar year. So I think that'll be a matchup where Covington can really showcase his skills. And then obviously you'll see Lillard and McCollum. That just leaves Wiggins and Oubre for them to guard. And so I would expect maybe Lillard on Wiggins because throughout the past like year of Blazer basketball, Lillard has tended to pick up more difficult assignments than CJ. So maybe Lillard on Wiggins. I think Lillard's his strength is underrated. So I actually think he could give Wiggins a few problems. And then McCollum on Oubre, which could be a problem for the Blazers.
Yeah.
If Oubre's been doing an amazing job of crashing the boards and just being really active in sort of the hustle areas so far this season. And so that might be a bit difficult for CJ to contain.
Yeah. I just want to apologize too. Because
is Gary Trent Jr. ready to go?
He's still questionable, as is Eric Paschall. Obviously, if Gary Trent Jr. is playing today, that's going to help the Blazers a ton. Likewise, if Eric Paschall plays today, that's probably going to help the Blazers quite a bit as well. So we'll just have to wait and see what becomes of those two.
Yeah. You want to talk about Damian Lillard lighting up the scoreboard last game?
Yeah, so Dame, that was the case. He did have an off shooting night, but he was able to just use it.
Still had like 20, bro.
Yeah, getting to the hoop, getting fouled. He ended up having not an amazing scoring night, but he was still able to contribute in other ways on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Lillard, actually, of the 29 teams in the NBA, Damian Lillard has the highest career average against the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, he does.
He always
does
show up when he gets to play in the Bay. So I actually am looking for Dame to get back on track tonight. Channon, do you have a reaction to that?
You love to hear it, dude. Yeah, he's from the Big O, bro. He's got to show out.
Yeah, and every single time he plays good against the Warriors, I feel like all the time except the Western Conference Finals.
He's good against the Lakers too, for some reason.
Dude, like Jonah, every single time I go and see him play, he drops like 50 and he pulls up from way beyond the arc. He just so stupid.
Kellan, do you want to get into some advantages you think the Warriors are going to have against the Blazers tonight? Some things we can look out for.
Best point guard in the league, duh. He's starting to heat up. He's feeling himself, dude. Yeah, he is. Stop. Jonah, come on, man. But I wanted to say something. They didn't listen to us. Michael Mulder only got like 11 minutes last game.
Yeah, Mulder needs to play more.
He needs to play more. He needs to play more, for sure. And then I think Baymore didn't play again, too.
Yeah, and that's a fair point about Stephen Curry. He's still only shooting 32% from three on the year. But
he was like 5 of 10 or like 5 of 9 from three.
Yeah, there's definitely been an uptick in the past 2 games. Granted, the Pistons are not a team that
but they're throwing a lot of stuff at Steph, though.
I mean,
but didn't Blake Griffin get a concussion?
Oh,
I think Blake Griffin was hurt, and that kind of played a big role in why. Because
I don't remember that play, but maybe.
Yeah, but you know who's actually a stud? Is Jeremy Grant, bro. That guy can score, dude. And the Warriors defense is kind of sketch, but they're pretty scrappy though. They manage to turn the ball. They get turnovers, dude.
Yeah, and Grant might be a little bit overcast as sort of a primary isolation scorer in Detroit, but when you surround him with options such as Killian Hayes, DeLon Wright, Svi Mikhailiuk. I mean, somebody's got to take the offensive workload. And so, and that's the reason he came to Detroit in the first place. But to pivot back pivot back to the game tonight, one question I was curious to ask you, Kellan, who do you think Draymond Green's minutes are going to come at the expense of tonight?
What are you talking about? Like, who's going to play for him more?
Yeah, like who's going to have their role cut back due to Draymond being integrated into the lineup?
Well, if Pascal's not playing, wouldn't he play more maybe?
Yeah, and that's kind of the obvious one, Pascal. Another guy I looked at only playing about 17 or 18 minutes a game, Juan Toscano-Anderson. I think
facts.
Draymond will probably take quite a few of his minutes.
He's been starting.
And then one thing we've seen the Warriors do, and I talked about this on the Bulls podcast, and I still want to make it clear how much I am against this strategy, is playing non-centers at the center position. And obviously, the center position is a very weak one for the Warriors. James Wiseman and Kevon Looney are not some murderer's row. Like, they're not guys who you would think you need on the court at all times. But when the alternative is Eric Paschall at center, it's just not going to work. And thus far this season, Terry Stotts has done a very deliberate job of staggering the minutes of Yusuf Nurkic and Enes Kanter, the end being that one of those two are on the floor at all times. And if the Warriors, and this is only if Pascal can even play tonight, but I guess the same goes for Draymond. If they want to play Draymond or Pascal at center, they're going to have a very hard time keeping Kanter and Nurkic off the boards. Granted, Nurkic has had a bit of a slow start.
Dude, Kanter's been a beast, bro.
Yeah. And especially
Kanter's a beast down low.
Yeah, a lot of those Pascal at center lineups have come with the reserves on the floor. And if that's the case, can't look for Kanter to just have a monster night.
Not as much of a beast as Kevon Looney, dude.
I'm actually
Kevon Looney always in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I think that might be advantage Blazers. So,
I forgot, dude. What happened to Marquise Chris, my man? We kind of miss him.
Yeah,
his Wiseman had to play a lot last game.
Yeah, and he's not coming back for the rest of the season. So that's another reason for concern for Golden State.
I know, but that means Wiseman's going to get a lot of action this year.
Which that hopefully will be good for his development. But Wiseman is nowhere near the point he needs to be to actually contribute to winning basketball. And so,
he sent some shots back though.
I mean, he's been shooting quote unquote very well.
Well, he doesn't really shoot that much.
Yeah, he doesn't shoot that much. I still believe in Wiseman's potential. I don't think any more or less of him than I did 5 months ago. But I think the hype train has started to get out of control on Wiseman a bit.
And you're right. He does foul a lot, dude.
And he fouls a lot, and he's his defensive awareness still is not very good. He never knows where to be. Okay, here's an example. I don't think I've talked about this yet, but this is all the way from the Warriors' first game. There were plays where DeAndre Jordan was holding the ball at the top of the key, and Wiseman would go out and guard him there. Like, I get if it's like Kyrie or Kevin Durant or Joe Harris coming off of like a handoff screen and getting an open mid-ranger, like maybe then you come off and try to hedge that play. But otherwise, there's just no reason to guard DeAndre Jordan. And he's done that multiple times against other matchups. Most notably, Wendell Carter made him look very foolish a couple times during that Bulls game. And so he's just got to do a so much better job of just having that awareness and doing a better job assessing the threat that the opposing center presents. And so until he can really figure out where to be on defense and how to gauge specific matchups, I really think that teams are just going to be able to take advantage of Wiseman fairly easily.
I did see there was one time, I forget who it was, but he backed off and didn't even come up to the line to guard him, though. I forget who it was. It might have been Plumlee or someone.
Oh yeah.
But there was one time where he was like, no. And I thought that was pretty smart.
Yeah, and that's what he should do. Is against Nurkic. Like Nurkic has been getting a little bit more adventurous shooting 3-pointers. But I still don't think that's. I don't think Wiseman should try to respect that too much. Like if Nurkic hits 1 or 2 3-pointers tonight, I mean, so be it. But I think Steve Kerr would be happy to live with those shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what do you think's going to happen in Game 1 tonight at 7:30?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one regular season NBA game. So I mean, anything.
It's big for me. It's really big for me.
Anything could happen. I think the Blazers are going to win tonight.
Don't say anything could happen.
I mean,
don't take away from my Warriors. If they earn a dub, they earn a dub, bro. You guys always ghost me. Whenever they do something good, it's like crickets. It's just crickets.
I mean,
it's like, come on.
It's the regular season. Like anybody could beat anybody. Like the
Hornets.
The Knicks throttled the Bucks a couple nights ago, and the Cavaliers.
The Bucks aren't that good, honestly, dude.
And the Cavaliers
sucks.
And the Cavaliers beat the 76ers by like over 20. So I mean, they're like an individual regular season game, like they're not extremely predictable. But dude, I do think the Blazers are a better team than the Warriors, and so I'll take the Blazers tonight, and I'll take the Blazers on would it be Sunday as well? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking Warriors. They're gonna win one game. Maybe not tonight. But hopefully it's close. But when they were playing the Bucks or whatever, you'd think Giannis would be a better free throw shooter, dude. Is he usually pretty good?
No.
Man, dude, just hack Giannis, bro. I think the Warriors, what do you think the score is gonna be? Maybe like 115 to 110.
Yeah, that sounds about right. These should be pretty high scoring games.
Yeah. How do you think Steph's gonna do?
It depends on who's.
Do you not think that he's actually heating up?
No, I do. Because I mean, obviously he is. He was like I said he's heating up. He's having a pretty bad shooting season, but
yeah.
He was 2 for 10 in his first games, and then what was he, like 5 for 9 against the Pistons or something like that?
Mm-hmm. What was his?
I mean, we have a better shooter than that. So I mean, Gary Trent Jr. still plays for the Blazers.
Yeah, his last 2 games have been an improvement. So I am kind of. I mean, obviously, I picked Stephen Curry to be on my All NBA second team, so I expected him to have a good season, and so. So yeah, I'm inclined.
I do think
he might be picking it back up again.
I do think Derrick Jones Jr. is a good matchup for him because he's a guy who can trail in the whole game and he's lengthy. He's got great hands.
Yes,
and he's a guy he'll make you think you beat him, whether or not it's intentionally, and then he's really still in the play.
Yeah,
I love that about him.
Yeah,
and then wait. I think what did Steph shoot the game before the Pistons game?
Against the Bulls, he was like 5 of 15 against the Bulls.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, but I have to apologize to my boy Wiggins, even though it might be a fluke. But the episode against the Bulls told him just to drive, and then he got hot with that corner 3 ball, and then he just started pulling up from wherever. It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
he's good. He's good, dude. If he can do that every 3 games, that would be fire. Because I definitely wouldn't ever expect that every single game. But you know how it has been a pleasant surprise? I feel like Damian Lee does well on like both sides of the floor. Because he was 2-way player last year, right?
Yeah.
I love Damian Lee. He's so good.
He and Mulder need to play more.
Who's taking their minutes?
Jordan Poole.
But I think Poole barely even sank a shot last game.
Yeah,
I want to check how many minutes he played.
The Warriors still seem committed to making this Jordan Poole experiment continue as long as possible, and he sucks.
Like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Lee played 19. Mulder played 11.
Yeah, you got it. Like Jordan Poole should not be playing minutes. Just give those minutes to Mulder and or Damian Lee. Like That's such low-hanging fruit at this point. And they picked up Jordan Poole's option, so he will be on the Warriors once again next year. So they do seem rather invested in making this marriage work, but I don't know. He has to show me a lot more before I come around.
I like Jordan. He's cool.
And then
I don't know. I feel like he doesn't shoot a lot.
One last point before we go. I actually think Pascal could help the Warriors a little bit. I know I joked.
Oh, stop.
I know I joked earlier that if Pascal plays, that's going to be
Jonah was about ready to just pull the plug on Pascal last episode.
Yeah, I don't think Pascal is a very good player. I actually was somewhat optimistic about him after his rookie season, and he's pretty much taken my optimism and set it on fire in the short span of 3.5 games this season. But that said, if he plays this game and he's going against the front court of Carmelo Anthony and Enes Kanter, which Terry Stotts has played those two quite a bit together for better or for worse thus far this season. If Pascal gets matched up against that combination, I actually think he might be able to do some damage tonight, especially just getting to the foul line. Like, that's probably the one thing he's been able to do all right this year is just get foul shots. And I think it should be a pretty bountiful harvest for him if it's Carmelo Anthony who indeed he's matched up against.
You know what a hot take would be? What if Oubre just turns it up this series? When do you think he will? I mean, he's obviously really good on defense, but
I don't think he's the type of player to be like a ISO bucket guy, honestly.
No, definitely not.
I don't know. But like Jonah said, he kind of lost his
At any
touch
point.
a little bit so far. But I'm happy that he actually managed to drain 1 3-ball.
Yeah. So I guess do any of you guys have any last thoughts about this game?
No, dude. Warriors sweep. Let's go.
Well, I mean, I think both teams have reasons to be confident, but I think that the Blazers just match up better and have too many weapons for the Warriors to handle realistically. I mean, it is a regular season game, like you said, but just based on like paper and like rosters, I think the Blazers are a pretty obvious pick.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I'm gonna go at the Blazers as well. I think they'll win both of these games. And looking ahead to just the month of January in a more macro sense, the Blazers' schedule is very soft for these next 16 games that'll take place over the span of this month. I'm actually gonna pick the Blazers to go 14-2 over their next 16 games. I think the Blazers are gonna really be able to heat up this month. And so I definitely think this will be a launching pad for that tonight with a win over the Golden State Warriors.
So they're going to lose 2 to Golden State, then win 14 straight.
And I think that...
Sure.
That's fair.
I think the mindset for the Blazers is like this road trip was like, we got to get these ones because then it gets easier after that. So I think they're locked in, ready to go for these Golden State games.
Yeah, and people have been critical of the Blazers for good reason. Our net rating is the 6th worst in the NBA right now, which is mostly just due to the 2 blowouts we suffered. But if you told me we started out 2-2, like I am not complaining about that start for Portland.
No, that's that's what we were hoping for.
Yeah, and when I ranked the Western Conference, I had Lakers, Clippers, Jazz 1, 2, and 3. So we played what I thought were the 3 most difficult matchups in the entire Western Conference. And then we played the Rockets on the night that James Harden went for 44 points and like 17 assists. And so those are 4 very difficult games. And we were able to split.
And Christian Wood balled out too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So under the circumstances, 2-2, like I'm not at all worried about the Blazers right now. So yeah.
I'm pumped, dude. Let's go.
And I think we saw how good they can be against the Lakers.
Yeah, absolutely. That game was pretty much like the thesis of this team. Like that was the proof of concept, basically. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay, so make sure to tune into me and Jonah at that post game episode, dude.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Kel better be.
Right.
He's either gonna be very happy or very sad. But yes, thank you for Channon for coming on.
Yeah, thanks.
He
Channon.
found an opening.
Yes, sir.
So yes, thank you so much. All right, this will come out very soon, boys. All right.
All right, cool.
Bye bye.